Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video follow-up on my head unit, my in-dash head unit. A bunch of you guys have asked me how I feel after a few months, so instead of just constantly answering that question, I figured I'd go ahead and do this video. Also, I've done a few installations on different vehicles with head units like this, and I think from now on, I will probably do follow-ups just because I get so many questions. So it's been a few months. It is currently snowing, a pretty big snowstorm out right now. So this is probably like the worst situation possible for, your cell phone, for any kind of electronics. Sometimes when it gets super cold, electronics can be a little bit finicky. And I will say, at least in my case, I have not run into that with this head unit. This is not going to be super long. We're just going to go in there and I'll show you some of the functions, kind of how it's holding up, whether I think you should buy it or not. Yeah, let's go ahead. All right, I'm going to attempt to start the car, film with this camera, and also do a timer on this all at the same time. Anytime I'm using anything on the phone, no matter what the head unit is, it always runs a little bit slower. It must be like a connectivity thing. I don't know what it is. So typically it'll probably be faster than this. Let's just see what we can do. Also, it's very cold out, so my car might take a little longer to start. Like I said, it usually is faster than this. It's just whenever I use a phone, for some reason, it just does that. That was probably about 25 seconds there. Granted, this was about a minute before that. A minute and 10 seconds, I think, is what it used to be. Now, like I said, this is probably not going to be nearly as fast as like a built-in one that comes with your vehicle, but typically I don't see, like I said, I stopped it a little late. It was probably about 25 seconds. And in 25 seconds, that's about how long it takes me to, get my seat belt, pop it out of park, mess with my headlights, anything like that. And usually I will say it is a lot faster than that. I don't know what's going on today. Typically, I would say it's around like 18 to 20 seconds. I didn't film it the other day, but I had a timer on my watch just to kind of mess around. I should have filmed it then because it actually went super fast. Just note that in probably the worst conditions, because it is currently 11 degrees outside. I have my home and my work right here. When I want to immediately get in the car, I can do that. Right now, I'm not playing anything because pretty much everything I listen to is copyright, and I don't want that to happen. The apps that I use the most, honestly, I probably should switch this around because this is not it right here. Messages, I really don't mess with that while I'm driving. I will do like, hey Siri, and right there I can search. She's gonna probably answer my question. But yeah, I don't really use Siri that much unless I'm trying to send a text message or making a call. Really cool. Very, very cool. Now, I don't have the Garmin power switch anymore. I used to. I now have this, but when I had the Garmin power switch, you could go on here. It's not going to do anything now because I don't have it anymore, but you can do, your pods, your lighting, anything like that. Like I said, mine, I have this now, which is drilled into the dash, and that's how I control my lights. But if you have one of these units, you can do the Garmin power switch. If you have OnX off-road, you can actually do that here. So from your head unit, you'll be able to do off-road navigation. If you do Uber driver, I used to do that a little bit here and there, delivering food just on the just to make a little extra money here and there. I've since stopped doing it. It's really not ideal. I don't love it. Now, if you have the Walmart fuel app, you can use this. I don't live near one anymore, apparently, but I used to when I lived down south, and also I work down here. And then WhatsApp over here. But there's a ton of apps you can add on here, and it really doesn't have to be added on here. It's mostly going to pull apps from your phone. So if you download those apps, it will go onto here. So So we're putting some copyright-free music on here. I'll play that in a second. But this is what your main screen is going to look like. Now, it does work with Android as well. It'll look a little different than this, but it will still be that same button. Like, let's see. It'll be this button up here that will take you there. So it'll be the exact same. Now you can always find it like that. You can press the back button to go back to where you just were. This is going to be kind of like where you might access the radio, stuff like that. I have changed the sound settings in here to be a little bit better. So let's go ahead and I keep it about 15. I don't know if it depends on the vehicle or the amplifier, but I found that 15 to 18 is kind of where I like it. I just feel comfortable there. So we'll go ahead and play this. So I have no clue what that's going to sound like coming through, the camera and all that. But I can assure you it is very good. But I will say I have upgraded the speakers on this because this is a 22-year-old vehicle now. It's a 2004, so it is a much older vehicle, and obviously the speakers were all blown out on here. It is very likely that if you have a GX that's this old, they're probably blown out as well. So, just note that I have upgraded the speakers and it can handle the quality of sound that's coming through and actually play it a little bit more true to volume and true to sound. Now, this will still work with your factory ones. If you still have the factory ones, it'll be fine, but you may not get that full quality that comes through with something like a modern set of speakers. I will say I have been very happy with this head unit, the functionality on here. It's very flush and looks like it was made to be in this vehicle. Like, you cannot tell, other than the fact that it's very obvious that it didn't come with this, you can't really tell that it wasn't OEM. Now, I already had this little mic set up here, so that's really nice, a nice place to put that, but I accidentally didn't plug in the microphone at first, and actually, not gonna lie, people said that it sounded really good compared to my old one, because the old one would actually cut in and out, my old head unit. That is someone who's coming from one that already had a CarPlay head unit that was not as good. So if you're coming from one that's just a CD player in here, this is going to be a massive upgrade. But even for me, who had one in here already, it's still a major upgrade, a lot faster, just generally newer technology, obviously, than the old one. I've had this for about 3 months or so now. I've had no issues. I installed this back in early December, I believe it was. The technology in these is so good now that there's not really a lot of things that can go wrong with them. I mean, obviously, if you go to some random one on Amazon or eBay that you know nothing about, no reviews, there's a chance there could be some issues there, some connectivity, not being able to work with your backup camera or not coming with a backup camera. But luckily for most people who have this vehicle, who want a backup camera, this one has it. It's super easy to just run it down here and all the way to the very back, because all of this plastic in here pops up super easy, and all you have to do is run it back there. I have it on mine already, but I did connect this running up through there and down, so I personally did have to do that while running that back. But if you are going to do that this way, this actually should be a lot easier than this was, because I had to go through the headliner and down past the airbags right there. So this should be a lot easier, and you can just run it back through there. Sorry about the trash, but you should be able to run it through very easy. So my final verdict on this is I think it is really great for the price. I've seen some very expensive ones out there people swear by, but after running a few different ones, like I think this is my 4th Apple CarPlay head unit that I have installed. And like I said, I previously had one in this vehicle that came with it from the guy I bought it from. And I gotta say, a lot of these are very similar. And I do think that this one is so far the best one. And a lot of that probably has to do with the newer technology in it. But that being said, this is not like my normal videos. This is just me talking about something to try to answer some questions because I get a lot of questions about this. So if you like this, I don't think it's going to do well for the algorithm, but if you like this kind of video, please comment below and I'll try to do some more follow-ups. Most of my videos I'm following up after like a month or 2. This is a little bit longer. So that being said, thanks guys for checking this out. I'll see you guys in the next video.